What's up, everyone? On this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast, we get back to talking about some local bands again. We're talking the South Carolina hardcore scene, including bands like Strikeface, Intimidator, Reviler, and more. Then we move out of the US and Kyle introduces us to Costa Rica beatdown with the band Deadlift. We wrap up talking about how, in general, we feel like the overall hardcore scene is welcoming and inclusive, and how we're excited to be a part of it. It's time to open this pit up. Welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast with me, Trevor, and Kyle. And Josh is taking the week off to do some test for weightlifting judging or something like that. I think his text said. Is that what you read?
How do they test him to here, lift this bar? Okay, you can lift it. You can judge.
Oh man, I'm curious to see. I'm sure it's about form and technique and making sure that they get all the way up or something like that. But I don't know. Apparently, there's a written test portion for weightlifting.
This is the most Josh has ever studied for anything.
Well, dude, for the amount of time he's putting into the gym right now, and he's freaking killing it. Did you see his 800-pound lift?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's crazy.
No, it's insane. Anyways. What's up?
He's not here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not much, man. I'm sick again. Freaking, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I swear, every week we get on and we all say the same thing. That kids are sick. We're sick. Everybody's sick. I just want to feel good again.
Dude, we're actually doing okay at my house, finally. It seems like kids are over everything that they had. My middle child, she's having some growing pains, but I'm like, I can handle that with Tylenol. I'm good with that. Yeah. And so, no, I think we're over the worst of it here.
That's good. I honestly don't know what happened. My kids are better, and they've been better for a little bit now, and then last couple of days just been sick. I don't get it, but at least it's been 80 degrees down here. So while I'm kind of fevering, I just go lay out in the sun.
Yeah.
Let it kill the bacteria in me.
There you go. Well, that's nice. Yeah. I think that we were talking the other day and you were at sports practices or something, able just to hang out outside.
Yeah. My son played lacrosse and freaking scored 2 goals, dude. It was sick.
Oh, that's way sick.
Yeah.
How's the competition out there for lacrosse?
Well, half the teams are pretty good and the other half are not very good. So we beat this team on Sunday 12-0.
Uh-huh.
But then 2 weeks ago we lost 12-0.
Okay.
So it just gotta, yeah. I don't know. But it's pretty big out here.
That's sick.
Lots of teams, lots of clubs, and they start them young. And there's a school district out here that pays their lacrosse coach $320,000 a year.
Dude, I'm so over how expensive, how crazy the cost of sports activities are getting for kids. And it's because of stupid stuff like that.
I know.
Don't pay a freaking lacrosse coach who's what, a high school coach or a middle school coach or something?
High school coach, yeah.
$320,000. There's no reason for it.
I know. Well, this is the area that some of the richest people in DFW live in. So a ton of money to the point where the lacrosse team didn't have a field to play on. So a parent just went out and bought one. Artificial turf and everything.
Just ridiculous.
$1 million field.
Listen, go back to what we did in the mid-2000s. Hire a guy who's, what was he, a car salesman who played lacrosse in the 80s?
Yeah, dude, exactly.
And listen, man, what was his name? His name was Brad, I think. Brad, if you hear this, love you, man.
Because he was my dad's mechanic.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
He played in the 80s. Let's be honest. He didn't know what he was doing. The team ran itself for the most part.
Exactly.
And we didn't suck. We were actually pretty competitive.
But we should have been way better than we were. Because we had a lot of talent and we had all been playing together for 6-7 years,
Yeah. exactly.
So we
Which
should
is
have been a
why
lot
we could
better, but
compete. Yeah.
I don't know. But if we had actually like taken it serious and had a good coach, I think we would have been pretty dang good.
No, that's cool. That's cool that down there it's getting bigger and like the growth of lacrosse is it's awesome. But we're not a
Yeah, but
sports podcast.
it's
So
slowing down a ton. Yeah, I know we're on a sports podcast. So, anyways, what have you been up to?
dude, not too much. The last week has been pretty slow for us. I did go to that show last night. Had a local show here. Witness Chamber came down from Boise, and then Devoid and Gator played. That was super sick. So my week's been filled with just Salt Lake hardcore. I've
Yeah.
listened to so much Salt Lake hardcore this week. It's been great. But no, it was a fun show. Probably about 100 people, give or take. So not as packed as some of the shows have been, but it made for really open floor space, which kids were going nuts again.
Sure.
The scene here, it's awesome. There's this new wave of kids that we keep talking about coming in, and there's a couple old guys who keep, I don't want to say putting them in their place, but when the old guys go, the young guys step back, kind of thing. And it's pretty clear.
Good.
But there's some of the young kids who are starting to integrate themselves into the old guys, which is fun.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
cool.
that's cool. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's funny that you said you were listening to a lot of like Utah hardcore. For those that are just tuning in now, go back and listen to last week's episode and listen to Will to Live when we interviewed Rob, their vocalist. Because I went down the rabbit hole of a bunch of like Texas hardcore bands that he'd brought up, and yeah, there's it's my fault that I'm not as involved in it as I would like to be, but there's good stuff down here, So I spent a lot of time listening to some of the Texas hardcore bands, so which I'm sure we will get to in this segment.
The thing is, like, Texas is so big, you're like 3 states in one. So you almost have to start specifying, I'm listening to Dallas hardcore. I'm listening to Houston hardcore. I'm listening to San Antonio hardcore. Like, you guys have such a big state that there's pockets.
Yeah.
And we've got to learn the differences between the pockets.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed, though, is it's very metal influenced. Very, very metal influenced.
I've noticed that as well.
Like going back and listening to Iron Age, who turns out is like a huge influence. So they influenced Power Trip.
Yeah.
So you go listen to bands like Iron Age and Will to Live, and you're like, okay, I know exactly what Texas hardcore is,
Yeah. Metalcore. I mean, you get more metalcore style.
Yeah, you understand why bands like Fugitive, Judiciary, Power Trip, stuff like that is taken off, and it's power violence, very metal influenced. And I don't know, it's kind of reigniting some of my old feelings for metal, so it's been good.
All right. Hey, listen, man.
Nice.
If we can get you back on the metal train, like, I'm all for it. Because you've crapped on metalcore for 6-7 months now, kind of thing. We got to get you something that you actually enjoy at this point.
Well, I just think, yeah, it's been there. I needed to rediscover what was good metal and good metalcore, because in a world of Bad Omens and Sleep Token, I can go find good bands like Iron Age and stuff. So,
oh man, and the sad part is that's such a hot take to say Bad Omens and Sleep Token are not good. It's right, but it's such a hot take. So, oh yeah. What about shows?
Which I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I know we were getting into like new music and stuff. I think those bands, maybe not Bad Omens, but some of those bands, some of those crappy metalcore bands did have new music come out.
I think I saw some stuff. I think I saw, what are they called? Like Moss to Flames. I think that they dropped something.
I think like Architects, maybe. I don't know.
Devil Wears Prada's dropping.
They all sound the same,
8th.
so I don't know.
I know that.
Yeah. See, the thing about them though is, honestly, it could go either way. They could keep going down this weird like indie metalcore type, experimental metalcore stuff that they're doing, or they could just drop another Zombie 2 type album.
So where are you with the Devil Wears Prada? Because you were a massive fan through even Transit Blues.
Yeah. I felt like they've been ahead of the curve with metalcore, and so I've respected it. I don't like it anymore, but I respect it. Like I respect what they're doing.
So Color Decay, where did you fall with Color Decay?
I actually didn't listen to that one. So
Why?
I don't know. That's their most recent one, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't listen to it.
I actually thought it was okay, right? I mean, it's definitely this more generic.
Oh, it's the one that has Salt
Yes.
and Watchtower? Okay. I did listen to those songs, but I don't think I listened to the whole album.
Okay. It's definitely the more generic style of metalcore currently being played. Mm-hmm. But I haven't really liked the Devil Wears Prada from Dead Throne. Like, that's going to be a hot take because I think a lot of people like Dead Throne.
You're right, though. I don't think anything after Dead Throne has been good. I just respect that. I think they were ahead of the curve on a lot of that generic metalcore sound before everyone else was doing it. You could say they pioneered a lot of that sound. I don't like it, but they did.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, Dead Throne.
But some of those like Daughter from Transit Blues, that's a banger of a song.
It's fine.
The Lines of Your Hands off of The Act, dope song. Everything else, terrible. Don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like after his vocals got fried with Roots Above and Branches Below, even that album, which people again love, I'm only like 50-50 on.
Yeah, it's so much.
Yeah. And then when Dead Throne came out, I was not. Dead Throne got heavier, which I really liked, but it just couldn't keep my attention. I didn't even
seriously see. I really like that.
I know you do.
Think that's their best
album. I know you do.
I think that's their best album.
But like 818, I didn't listen to. Transit Blues was fine. The Act, I listened through maybe once.
Yep. See, the problem with the Devil Wears Prada is that through that whole time, they're releasing the Zombie EP, they're releasing the Space EP, which I freaking love the Space EP. And they released Zombie too.
Space was okay. Zombie is insane.
Dude, it's so good.
Zombie might be the Devil Wears Prada's best work. I love the Zombie EP.
Yeah, probably.
That one is.
Dude, that breakdown with where he cocks a shotgun.
Yep. Dude, so good.
Dude,
so good. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about the Devil Wears Prada anymore. I bought Transit Blues on vinyl. I have that one on vinyl. But still only okay to me.
I don't know why you buy it on vinyl if you're not going to listen to it.
Because it was on sale and it was super cheap. Because it's not good. So...
All right. It's like out of all the Devil Wears Prada vinyl, I have Transit Blue vinyl.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it was just something cheap. I think Rise or whoever put out Transit Blues was having a blowout sale or whatever. I think I paid like $7. I think I paid like $7 for it or something. It was insane. It was like, yeah, why not? Right. I need some Devil Wears Prada in my vinyl. So if that's the cheap one, I'll take the cheap one.
Well, any other good music that came out, One Step Closer. Released a new song.
Saw that.
Super freaking good. Life's Question. They released a new song. It's incredible. If you guys haven't listened to Life's Question, you need to. It's so good. Let's see. Belmont. Have you ever listened to Belmont?
I've listened to Belmont. I listened to Belmont when they first came out, and they were like the pop punk stoner band.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Except they're straight edge, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure in the music video they're hotboxing a van.
Yeah, but if you watch them live, they have X's on their hands.
Oh, really?
So
maybe it was just a spoof thing or whatever.
Sure. They have a country song on their second album that I'm pretty sure is just making fun of it.
Well, all right then. I used to listen to them when they first came out. I haven't followed them as much in the last few years.
Their second album is so good. It's like 4 Years Strong and Linkin Park had a baby.
It's interesting.
That doesn't make any sense, but it freaking works for them, dude. It's so good.
All right. So the song All Bite, is that the one?
So like Pain Now is a really good one. Pain Now even has some like DJ, you know, the turntable.
Oh yeah.
Where they scratch it, you know? And the breakdown in it is freaking amazing. That album's really good. You should check it out. And then there was a new Mugshot song. I didn't listen to it, but I saw it came out.
I saw that too. I haven't listened to it yet. Mugshot's another one though, probably more like Boundaries, where I really like their first stuff. I think that the last couple of things I've heard from them, they're good. It's still good music, but it's not like when I first heard Mugshot, where it was just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, kind of thing.
And then Job for a Cowboy just dropped an
Okay,
album.
I need to go listen to that.
So people have said it's like some of their best stuff.
Really,
I'm not a deathcore guy, so I couldn't tell you,
and
but
I am a deathcore
people
guy,
said it's super.
so I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go jump on that one. I did see Full of Hell dropped a single as well, which I've never listened to a ton of Full of Hell, but I know that that's another band that a lot of people really like, so I'll have to take that one for a spin. Dude, shows. Freaking announcement of shows was wild over the last little bit. What's coming down your way?
So I saw that I Am the Avalanche
Yep,
tour with Be Well. Looks awesome, but I'm heartbroken that Such Gold is not playing the Dallas
sure.
date because I freaking love Such Gold. But the big one, honestly, is this Drain tour.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is insane. How cool they
Like,
did that.
did they miss a band? Like, I don't know that they missed a hardcore band. Like, literally every hardcore band on the planet is on this tour. So
It's
it's
nuts.
like it's Drain, Terror, Scowl, Angel Dust, End It. Some dates have Madball, some Regulate, King Nine, Twitching Tongues, Mind Force, God's Hate, H2O. Like, seriously, I don't think they missed a hardcore band. They're just like, we're going to gather up all the hardcore bands right now and then put them on select dates. So,
And they just call it the Good Good Tour.
yeah,
It's
it
just
is
the
the Good
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 Tour.
Tour.
It really is the Good Good Tour.
Oh, it's freaking
So,
awesome.
what about you, though?
I posted this earlier, but Madball is coming through. They're coming to Kilby, man.
That'll be
Madball's
sick.
coming to Kilby. They're bringing Mouth for War, so that's going to be nuts. Josh sent us Cult Leader, Form of Rocket, Loom. They're coming through. And then there's been a slew of local shows being posted and talked about. So there's a bunch of that stuff right now. I need to start writing down all this stuff. I post it and I like send it out there on the socials, but then like I'm like scrolling through rapidly as fast as I can to try to see what
Yeah.
I posted.
So, I know the ones that I've got coming up that I'm for sure going to. I'm going to go see The Bled at the beginning of
Yeah,
April. And then I really want to go to the Maylene and the Sons
I
of Disaster
freaking
tour.
love Maylene. I'm curious
And
to
then
like watch a live video to see how Dallas does though after his accident.
I don't care. Dallas doesn't even have to really do anything. I'm still going to hit people. So,
Sure, but dude, Dallas live was fun, man. And
dude, they're amazing.
so I'm just
And
curious.
then I'm going to go to the Hot Water Music one. Those ones I know for sure. But
I gotcha. The
yeah,
one,
I might be out of town for the Drain one and it's breaking my heart.
yeah, that
So,
would be
we'll
a
see.
big bummer. The one that I saw that's not coming through, which I'm super bummed about, is Sea of Treachery. They're
Oh,
coming
seriously?
back. Yeah, Sea of Treachery's
That's
going
sick.
on. It looks like a 10, 12 date stop or something like that. I don't think they even make it to Texas. It's like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, New York, PA, like up in those areas. But they're taking Foxbat out with them for a few of the dates. And I
That's
love
cool.
Foxbat, man.
Yeah.
So I'm so bummed. I wish they would come and play old school deathcore. Well, Josh was talking about that band Elijah. Sea of Treachery is my Josh's Elijah. I love Sea of Treachery.
Sure. I love Sea Treachery too. They're way good.
Yeah, man. So sick.
Back when like metalcore, deathcore was still cool. So,
Dude, that era is definitely my favorite. Like I could go
yeah.
listen to that stuff all day long. Well, sick, man.
So,
I think you said that you've been reading articles again.
yeah.
So what do you got
Dude,
for us?
this one, like, I think it was last week, made its round on social media and even was picked up by some like actual news stations.
It's gonna be rough.
But there's this Tennessee hardcore band that they fired their vocalist because he admitted to dosing one of their band members with estrogen to try and force. Yeah, he tried to force his band member to transition so that he could hook up with the dude's girlfriend.
I did hear about this. Wasn't he like, was it
Dude.
estrogen in his pre-workout or something like that? Is that
Uh-huh.
correct?
Yeah. 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 And they had spent like, this guy had spent like a ton of money on like doctor's visits to try and figure out what was going on because he was like sick and having all these health issues. And turns out the freaking band member had been dosing him with estrogen and tried to talk him into transitioning. And this isn't, I'm not laughing at like transitioning, right?
No,
like,
no.
like whatever, you know? Yeah.
We're
You're
laughing
not
at the
those people.
situation.
We're laughing at the situation that this guy was mentally unstable enough to think he could do that to someone and get away with it. It's unbelievable, man.
It's
Unbelievable.
like, I think I made the joke to Josh. I'm like, dude, I'm going to start doing that to you. I'm going to replace whatever you're taking.
It was, dude, when I read like the article, because I saw someone repost it and I started reading it, I was like, there's no way this is true. But yeah, dude, it's true. Like people been interviewed on the news stations picked it up.
What's
like,
crazy is go read the like actual. I wish I remembered who the band was because I read it too, but I read their actual announcement.
Yeah,
their announcement was
did too.
hilarious. It was like, we've made the decisions to part way with so and so because he tried to break up our guitar player, and I don't know if it's a spouse or a girlfriend, by dosing him with estrogen. Like, it was insane.
This, I'm reading the actual. It says, in hopes that he would give him the opportunity to swoop in once he looked more stronger and manly in comparison.
Oh my gosh.
They'd spent thousands of dollars in medical bills in the past months trying to figure out what's wrong. And they didn't know what was going on.
Oh.
And then they figured out that it was because this dude was dosing it with estrogen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, it's so messed up.
That's amazing.
Freaking hilarious.
It's absolutely amazing. I wish that some comedy show would do a spoof of that. Like,
Right?
or, like, you know what I mean? That would be awesome. I think it'd be hilarious.
Unbelievable.
Holy cow.
Unbelievable that someone would think to do that.
Oh man.
Yorona is what they're called.
That's right. That's right.
From Tennessee. So
well,
freaking wild, man. No, just throw it out there. Note to you guys: you always get caught when you try to dose your bandmates pre-workout with estrogen. I'm just saying that never works out. All right,
dude. How would that be? Like, were they on tour? Like, how did this all like come about? Like, how did he have so much access to this dude's pre-workout at all times, just to like constantly like put it in there? It's insane. So
it's crazy.
Holy cow! Well, Tennessee is fairly close to the Carolinas, and we're going to talk about South Carolina bands today. So, originally we brought this up because there's a couple of bands who, and shout out to Strikeface and Intimidator. He goes by Gooner, and then Trav Hardcore. They were early followers of us on social medias. So shout out to those guys. Like, I'm talking like within the first 10 to 20 people on some of our socials. So shout out to Gooner, but their band is, Gooners is Strikeface. Trav is a newer band, Intimidator. There's like 7 songs between them. And it's cool, right? Like, they are a growing scene out there in South Carolina. They're in the Charleston area. I've seen a couple of posts from Gooner being like, hey, we got to get more kids out here. Like, let's get this thing going again. He's like, I'm old, man. Like, I want to be the guy in the back filming you young kids moshing. And so, like, they're trying to push it and grow the scene, which is awesome. But, dude, the South Carolina scene up in Greenville is popping off. Up in Greenville, you got Reviler. Who were some of those bands that we were just talking about?
It was Reviler, Brass Tongue, Such Cruelty.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, so good. Reviler, it's like the fast, but still heavy style of hardcore. Brass Tongues is really cool, like 80s style throwback hardcore that was like more upbeat, more jumpy and stuff like that. And then Such Cruelty is just super, super heavy. So there's like a
Yeah.
good mix going on right now in South Carolina in general. And so I'm hoping that they continue to push this and continue to grow the scene and everything. Cause like Advent and stuff, I know they're North Carolina, but they're starting to play shows again. They're
Yeah.
starting to make this heavy. So, what were your thoughts on some of these bands?
So I'd actually heard of Reviler before.
Okay.
They're on my playlist. So not that that means anything. But I'd heard them. I don't remember where I found them, but yeah, they're dope. They remind me of like a Trapped Under Ice,
Okay.
that kind of hardcore, right? So super, super pumped about Reviler. I don't think they have any albums. It's just a bunch of singles, but totally worth checking out. Brass Tongue, like you said, little faster. Reminds me of like a New York hardcore
Yeah.
band, which I'm totally down with. That's like right up my alley. Such Cruelty, it's a little too like beatdowny, Zabulba. Not that I have anything against Zabulba, but that's just what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
But then like Strike Face and Intimidator are just. It's funny that you brought up that those guys followed us. I think we're probably pretty close to the same age
Yeah.
as those guys. I think we've got pretty close to the same kind of humor because most of our content outside of the podcast are just really stupid memes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you saw my story today on Instagram that I posted that was Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the Reading Rainbow song.
Okay. I just want to make this very clear. I got done posting about the show last night with putting stuff out for Gator, putting stuff out for The Void, Witness Chamber, all that good stuff. You go through like hardcore show, hardcore show, hardcore show. You get Arnold Schwarzenegger reading Rainbow at the end of the story. That is Kyle.
And I don't think anybody is like that. But the reason why I bring that up is these guys, I feel like we're on the same wavelength.
For sure.
Like Travis HC, I think is his TikTok handle. Like I had seen his videos before I knew he was an Intimidator and was just laughing super hard. Like I think there's one where he's like windmilling in a field to Creed.
Yeah.
Or something. And I'm like, that's like 100% how I feel. So there's a really funny like type of sense of humor in hardcore. And I'm just pumped that those guys would appreciate ours because I 100% appreciate theirs. And I like their music.
Yeah,
so
and that's
win-win.
I think that's the thing about Strikeface, at least specifically. Like their album's kind of a throwback, right? It has some like humorous lyrics. They have a song called Diss Track. They have a song like called I don't know, Kevin, you do the math. But it's and in one of the songs they drop all-star lyrics from Smash Mouth.
And they're like sound clips at the end of the song. I think is it Sing to Sing that has like the ukulele guy singing?
Yeah, Tiny Tim, I think that's who it is. Yeah.
I was laughing way hard, dude. It's the end of Diss Track has the ukulele.
Yeah.
Safe to Sing has the like weird country.
Oh, okay.
Like weird country thing. But it's just, I don't know. Look, there's enough tough guy, serious hardcore out there.
Right.
It's just a nice change of pace to get like, we always talk about ignorant or caveman hardcore. This is it. It's heavy. It's crazy. And then but at the same time, it's fun, right? You know, they're up there just having fun. They're not taking it too serious.
And the thing that I really like about Strikeface too is it's very punky. It's a very punk sounding throughout. And so it's a breakup, right? We just talked about those other bands. And I feel like they bridge some of the gap between like Brass Tongue and Such Cruelty.
Yeah.
So it's great.
I did like that Strikeface, not everything was like super drop tuned.
Yeah.
Cause you get into like some of the heavier stuff like Zabulba and it's like, I mean, you might as well get one of those like electrical cables that hold up like power lines and just play that because of how like low their tuning is, but Strikeface honestly feels like a heavier, more hardcore influenced Maylene. It really does.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling.
Yeah, it's got like a little southerny, not as drop tune, low sounding hardcore, and it's cool. It's a throwback sound, like you said.
Yeah. And then you go over to Intimidator, and Trav's vocals are more yelly. This is like an old school 90s style, like hardcore yell, not really like the scream that we get today. Which, again, it's a change of pace, right? It's something different, it's something unique, and it's fun. And they have this song "Win the Race" that has Gunnar on it with him. So like these dudes are
Okay.
buddies, right? Like if you
Yeah.
go and look at their social medias, they do one of those TikToks where it's like they're doing vocalists. They're like, we're vocalists. We forget the lyrics we write. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those back and forth kind of
Yeah.
things, and it's great. They're having fun. They're doing their best that they can to continue to build and grow this scene. It sounds like hey, let's get Greenville to kind of move out to South Carolina because, dude, it's sick, man. Like what's going on in the South Carolina scene, it's awesome. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're in
It feels
Charleston,
like,
get out to a show.
yeah, it feels like there's been a little bit of a lapse because I haven't really heard much coming out of South Carolina since like 100th.
Yeah,
But there's a little bit of a revival because like Stretch Armstrong, dude, is playing Furnace Fest, and I'm pretty sure they're South Carolina
yeah,
band, and Stretch Armstrong's dope.
yeah.
So
No, that's true. But 100th, I mean, can't even talk about 100th anymore. They aren't
oh my
100th.
gosh.
I'm curious to see what the other scenes are like out there. I'd be curious to talk and see like, do they have a heavier like metal scene and it's just not bleeding into hardcore, or do they have this?
Do people tour it? That's what I would want to know too.
That's a good question. I do wonder what shows look like out there. If it's all just small, or if there are some big tour packages that come through.
Yeah. I haven't really paid attention. I don't know if people are going to like Charleston, South Carolina. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you see Tennessee a
You just
lot.
make a drive down to Georgia or something,
Maybe.
or to North Carolina.
Maybe they're just one of those stops that just kind of gets overlooked. Maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, stop in South
That's
Carolina.
also really good for like local scenes though, because like I've been hearing a bunch about how like Oklahoma hardcore is starting to like pop off, and it's like no one goes to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But now you have like a local scene that thrives, right? Because that's the only way, if you're from Oklahoma, how you get hardcore music.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like once the local scene pops off and once the local scene's established and good, it brings some of those other bands to do
people.
like one-off shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look at Boise, dude. Why would you ever go to Boise? But Boise's got a hardcore scene, so people go to Boise.
Yeah. Or vice versa. Like I was at Witness Chambers last night. They're a Boise straight edge band. They came down to Salt Lake, right? Like I don't think that it's necessarily part of their tour. They're just like, we're buddies with the Salt Lake dudes. We're going down to Salt Lake, which is awesome. And that's what you want. Sure. You want Advent to come down to South Carolina from North Carolina and just be like, we love the South Carolina scene.
That's true, dude. Like all you have to do is get like one of these bands that's well known around the area. I mean, how sick would it be like Stretch Armstrong? Hey, we're going to play a reunion show where we grew up in South Carolina. Who are we going to get to play?
Yeah.
Well, now you've got crap like Reviler, Intimidator, Strike Face to come, and kids know them because everybody has seen Trav's videos online,
right.
So like then you start getting pulled in your scene, and that's sick. It's cool to watch this like happen in real time.
It is. It is. And I think that the social media is going to help them. I think that as they produce more music, because currently, I mean, between the two bands, there's 8 songs? Intimidator and Strike Face.
Yeah, and like 6 of those are
Strike Face.
And 2 are
Yeah, I mean, most of it, like Intimidator put out a song in 2023. That was Win the Race. That was with Gunnar. And then they put out, it was just like last month. It's called Beef.
Beef.
Yep. And that's, again, that's great.
The song's just called Beef.
It's great.
I love it.
And like you listen to the lyrics and stuff, and it's just like, it's what you said. It's just ignorant. It's just, get out of my face.
It's caveman hardcore, dude.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I was really impressed looking at the South Carolina scene, seeing what's happening out there. Again, shout out to Gunnar and Trav for number one following us. Always appreciate that, right? But they're cool dudes. And I truly think that over the next couple of years, as things can continue to progress, we'll see a little bit of a growth out there in the South Carolina
Yeah,
scene. So,
sick. No, it's tight for sure.
okay. What about you, man?
In this series of finding smaller local bands or whatever, I came across this band from down the road in Costa Rica called Deadlift. I think they started in 2023. I actually have no clue. Their social media's got like 10 posts on it. They're not the youngest dudes, so they've been around the block for a little bit. They came from a few bands. Most of their names are in Spanish. So one of them is called Respirando un Nuevo Dia,
Which translate for us.
like breathing in a new day, breathing a new
Okay.
day.
Which, if you guys didn't know, Kyle speaks Spanish. So,
I speak Spanish, the old Espanol. This band, Respirando un Nuevo Dia, is like 2010s metalcore.
oh, interesting.
Like really high guitar tones, solos, and then like almost crabcore type breakdowns.
Dude, I'm all for that. Sick.
Kind of sick. All right.
Okay.
I could only find songs of theirs on YouTube. I couldn't find anything on like streaming stuff, but you would really like it, Trevor. And so would our friend Chris that has been on the pod a couple times. This is right up his alley, dude, 100%. There's another band called Sangre Fria, which is like cold blood.
Okay.
And they're like a really fast traditional hardcore, like almost like it's like a punk band. It's like old school, like Minor Threat style hardcore, like Black Flag, Minor Threat style hardcore. It was really cool. And then they had another band called Billy the Kid.
Okay.
I'm like 80% sure I've heard this band before.
I feel like I've heard Billy the Kid before, but I'm pretty sure there's
Because
a Billy the Kid out of one of the, like the Philippines or something though too.
Are you sure you're not just thinking of this one?
Maybe I am.
So they've got a few albums. Like one album was from 2008 called Esta Ciudad Ardera.
Okay.
And they're kind of in the same vein as like Intimidator and Strikeface.
Okay.
Like one of their songs is called Chocolate Sexual. The other one's like Darth Vader. But it's like, it's almost like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like older 2000s metalcore type stuff too.
Okay.
It's almost like an old Haste of the Day or old August Burns Red.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It's actually pretty freaking cool. Yeah, dude. It sounds like first Haste of the Day album without singing.
Interesting. Okay.
So, okay, that's a long history of like to get into actual Deadlift. So they come from a bunch of bands, but they're not new, right? So they've been doing this for a while. I know absolutely nothing about the Costa Rica hardcore scene.
Right.
So I was super pumped to find these guys, and I found them just on Instagram too. Like I think it was an ad as well. That's where I'm finding all these bands. So hey, if you guys have the money and you're a local band, just pay for the freaking ad because some
I
people
will
find
find you.
All right, I will find you. I have a particular set of skills. But I heard this song and I was like, dude, this is sick. So I went and listened to the album and I was like, this is way sick. So what did you listened to it? What did you think about Deadlift?
You know, I listened to it quite a few times actually. Again, it's how long? Like
8 songs, but they're
it's like
2
12
minutes
minutes. Yeah. 18 minutes long. 18 minutes long is how long this is. The album's called Panorama, and the style of vocals he does is interesting, especially because it's in Spanish. It's pretty freaking heavy. You know what I mean? And I really got down to it. I thought that it was pretty cool. It was not what I was expecting. I have no idea what the South America scenes look like. The only thing I remember from South America is their metal scene. Like Here Comes the Kraken. So like deathcore, right? Yeah. And so it actually has some of like that sound in there, but it's definitely hardcore.
Yeah.
So it was dope, man. I really liked it. I listened to it quite a bit.
It's pretty interesting when you start finding some of these like South American or like Spanish hardcore bands because they kind of fit in the same vein. Like Desmadre, like even Zabalba,
Yeah.
right? Or Ballista that's down here in Dallas. They all sound kind of like this, and I'm down for it. It's super good. And one thing I wanted to say was, I mean, I speak Spanish, you don't speak Spanish. It doesn't matter.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you listen to this music and you know what they're saying, but you don't know what they're saying because you listen to hardcore anyways. You don't know what they're saying, even though they're speaking English. But like you get the message that they're conveying through their music, even though you don't understand the language. And on a serious note, in a goofy episode, that's actually pretty freaking powerful, of a thing to say about hardcore. So
Completely agree. And I think that just opens up the hardcore scene, right? It makes it more accessible to have bands like Deadlift, who is all in Spanish, right? But then to have bands like Zabalba, who put some Spanish in theirs, Desmadre, I think, put some Spanish in theirs, right? You have these
yeah,
bands who are starting to do some of that. And hardcore has often been about, at least current hardcore, right? About inclusivity, like
yeah.
wanting to make sure that everyone's welcome. You might get your face beat in, but you're welcome. Like,
But we hit everyone equally.
exactly. You crowd kill your friends, right? You don't, you crowd kill
Exactly.
everyone. So
Yeah.
to be able to continue to open those doors, whether it's through a language barrier, whether it's through other personal belief barriers, whatever that is, the fact that hardcore is accessible in that way is something that's really cool. As something that's really fun.
Absolutely.
And if I was going to a deadlift show, I'd go and swing as hard as I was if I was going to a US based hardcore band. It's very non discriminatory. Versus like
Right.
you can't really go listen to like a country album in Spanish if you don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but see, and what's interesting too is as somebody who's been involved in Latin culture, my wife's Guatemalan, my sister-in-law's Mexican, my cousin married a guy from El Salvador. I lived in Mexico. Like the contrast in music, I know that the contrast in music in the US when it comes to like hardcore is it can be pretty drastic, but not that much because a lot of people grew up at least with some type of rock influence in their life, right? Or even country,
Yeah,
you know? Like our parents might not like hardcore, but they grew up listening to rock,
right.
right? So that like the path to rock from rock into hardcore is not a path that's like too hard to get to. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, if you
When
look at
you
like the basics of just like Kiss to like the Misfits, then punk
yeah,
going into
yeah,
hardcore, like it's actually only like two steps removed. It's really not that far.
exactly. Yeah. If you grow up in a place like Costa Rica where your musical influence is salsa,
Right.
it's some music down there, bachata, merengue, that's like tropical, got trumpets hitting the marimba, like the little xylophone looking thing, like to get from that into hardcore is a weird path,
Right.
you know. And it was kind of interesting talking last week to Rob from Will to Live because he's from El Salvador, and he talks like, "Oh yeah, like I knew Kiss, in El Salvador, but like I would bet his parents listened to like old school salsa type music, right? I bet you these guys, like their parents probably grew up listening to like old school, like tropical Latin music. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I mean, that's how my in-laws are. Like when I showed my mother and father-in-law my music and the concerts I go to, they were like, "How are you still alive?"
Right.
You know? And it's like, so I think it is so cool that a band from Costa Rica that probably has these influences, which that music's awesome, by the way. I love Latin music. I dance Latin music. My wife taught me. I love it. But the fact that this music can still thrive in countries like that, awesome. Incredible. Love it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even think it's just like what it's what you said. It's thriving. Like I don't know the scene down there, but the little that I do know, I've met a couple of kids from. I'm trying to remember where he was from. It may have been El Salvador as well. I met a hardcore kid from down there, and he was telling me all about their scene, and it's the same as up here, which is awesome. I think that's
Yeah.
what's it's so cool that like they're stage diving, they're swinging, they're dancing, all that kind of stuff. We keep talking about like the Asian bands and stuff like that. Asian hardcore's popping off too.
Yeah, seriously.
Like there's a lot of cool stuff in the Philippines. There's a lot of cool stuff in Japan right now.
I mean, just seeing how huge like Cruelty's getting.
Exactly.
Incredible. I love it.
And I freaking loved following Cruelty on Twitter. They were posting some other just like Japanese hardcore bands and stuff. I think it was Cruelty who I was following. And dude, the music's dope. It's a lot like this, right? So, dude, it carries. It's awesome. It's cool. I would love to see more videos. I'd love to see more scenes and stuff like that and learn more about them. It's hard to learn more about these scenes and stuff unless they're
Yeah.
out there taking dang videos. Go take freaking videos and post them so we can watch it.
Yeah.
So,
Or pay for an ad on Instagram so I can find
exactly.
it. Yeah. So, but check out Deadlift, the album Panorama. It's awesome. It's just heavy music. It's just good, heavy hardcore. You don't necessarily have to understand the lyrics to get what they're talking about. I'm a huge fan of this band actually, and it's an album in a band that I'm going to keep following. So, if you guys know any other scenes or any other bands down in like South Central America, let us know because we're all for it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some more stuff like this or just whatever else is going down there. Because, like I said, what I knew previously, it was a lot more metal or deathcore. So, like, actually see some hardcore out there. It's cool, and I hope that there's more
So
of it.
there is another band. They're called Discord, and they're from Mexico City.
Okay.
They just dropped a new album. I didn't really want to bring them up because I was thinking about like holding off and talking about these guys sometime, but I'll just throw it in there now if people are looking for more like at least South American like hardcore. Check out Discord. They're more of like a straight metal core type, but they sound a lot like August Burns Red too. But it's good, and I don't care that they get to that point. Like play that music down in Mexico because I want let's grow that
What
scene.
do you have the album name or anything from them?
So they just released 2 songs. It's called And After All. Yeah, they're like a traditional metalcore, kind of sound like August Burns Red type.
Interesting. We'll have to link those because I can't even find them on Spotify right now. So,
Okay. Yeah, we'll when we drop this episode, we'll link all these bands and tag them and stuff because it's good music, dude. And this is why we did this podcast. This makes me feel like I'm a part of the scene again, and I'm participating and finding these new bands. There's so much good music out there.
yeah, so much good music.
I mean, these bands get like 500 listens a month, and it's cool that I'm one of them.
Completely agree. Completely agree. So, yeah, and again, we're always in for new music and stuff. So, if there's other bands that we missed in South Carolina, let us know about that. If you guys know about the South America, Central America bands, super curious about that. But I think that scene is going to continue to grow with bands like Zabalba, with bands like Desmadre and stuff like that. Because Zabalba, weren't they just in Mexico City? Didn't they just play some Mexico City shows?
Yeah, dude. A couple of those. Who else was it? There's a few like other big U.S. hardcore bands that were just down in like Brazil and stuff too.
Sick.
I think Drain just did all the Asia stuff
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
last summer. So yeah,
Yeah. So I'm hoping that
out
I'm
there.
hoping we see some more of that stuff. I'm down for it. And maybe eventually we'll get another Cruelty, right? We'll get another band from one of these countries who's able to come tour the US, which would be so sick.
Yeah.
I'd be all for that.
Yep.
So sick, man.
Yeah. Dope.
Well,
That's all I got, dude.
yeah, anything else to chat about this week?
Nah, we're doing hot water music next week, so tune
Hot
in.
water music, which, dude,
Well, I don't know. I don't even know when we're releasing this. So
I mean, my guess is Hot Water will be following this one still. So,
okay.
uh,
Well, then I stand by what I said.
anyways, yeah, tune in for that. I haven't listened to a ton of Hot Water music, so I'm interested to like actually listen to them front to back, like I've been doing with these bands. So,
Dope.
okay, man. Well, we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye.